Recently, the values of Bitcoin and ETH and all of the crypto assets have been going up. And part of that is based on the potential approval of spot ETFs, but part of it is just based on the value of ETH and why would those companies want to issue or want to offer or create ETFs based on these particular crypto assets. It's not just for FOMO. The quality of the companies that are doing this are not just doing it because they think they can make a lot of money. They do think they can make a lot of money, but there has to be some sort of long-term play here. So let's talk about the investment theses behind Bitcoin and ETH. I'll start with Bitcoin. And one of the reasons why I want to break this down and break it down in the way I do is because you as a financial advisor are going to be reading, whether it's in mainstream media, whether it's crypto media, whether it's Twitter, X, LinkedIn, wherever it might be, different people talking about, I buy Bitcoin because of this, or here's why you buy Bitcoin, or throwing out their posts and referencing some statistic that you hadn't heard of, or something that happened in the news, here's why Bitcoin. And I want you as the advisor to be able to parse through all that and understand, what does this mean for you? What does it mean for your clients? Should I listen to this person or not? And what are they saying? And how does that affect my thesis? So I break down the Bitcoin investment theses into three parts. One is the revolution, two is the macro, three is the micro. So first we'll start with Bitcoin, the revolution. This is people who are investing in Bitcoin, or the investment thesis of Bitcoin that says Bitcoin is a revolution. It's revolutionary money. I want to own Bitcoin because the government doesn't get to tell me what it's worth. The government doesn't even get to decide whether or not I own it. Technically, I can own it free and clear. I can self-custody. I can have it myself, and it's wherever I am, theoretically. So this works if you're in the West, if you're in kind of a Western democracy and you just go, I don't like banks, I don't like the government, I don't like what the Fed is doing, therefore I want to own Bitcoin. That's my revolution. That's my way out. That's my way to say, I don't care about the banks. I don't want the banks to have control over my money and my assets. If you live in a country where there are maybe other issues, where you have huge issues with inflation, or corrupt governments, or corrupt banks, or corrupt regulation, or again, devaluing of the currency, that's where Bitcoin or crypto in general all of a sudden becomes a necessity. I want to own this because the government is telling the banks I can only get $100 out a day, or I can't convert to fiat currency, or the banks just decide to be closed, or I need to up and leave the country because there's a revolution coming, or the bank might be closed because we're at war. Something like that, and I want to have access to my money, and I don't have it right now if I'm holding fiat in a bank, and I need to hold Bitcoin. So when you see people talking about, I want to own Bitcoin because I don't trust the government, or I don't trust the banks, or because here's what the government's doing with the wealth, or something like that. That to me is Bitcoin, the revolution. That is, I want to own this because I get complete self-sovereignty over my assets and over my value.